Tonight on the 7:30 report, the birthplace of the nation turned into an industrial wasteland.
Kurnell has essentially become a wonderful jewel wrapped in noxious industry.
Since the 1950s, the National Trust's been campaigning with locals.
It's such an important site for the history of Australia.
This is Currawong. The community has been fighting development plans for 30 years. This battle is the most desperate. The National Trust has now weighed in. The National Trust says Currawong is a wake-up call for every Australian.
People from 30 communities around the state battling controversial developments have protested in Sydney against the government's planning laws.
On a patch of green, dwarfed by tall buildings, they came with their placards, all with their own axes to grind against the government and developers. The rally heard from the godfather of green bans. Jack Mundy is credited for saving Sydney's heritage in the 1970s. The opposition was also there, promising to scrap the laws and the potential for corruption.
Currawong to Catherine Hill Bay, a diverse crowd of protesters rallied in Hyde Park to call for an end to inappropriate development.
It's an appalling decision. 600 houses on a mining village that has heritage values is just unacceptable.
The protesters called for the abolition of Section 3A of the planning legislation, which gives the minister power to take control of major projects.
Stateline facilitated a National Trust breakfast to look at the conservation of this state's heritage.
Today I'm also announcing that we are rejecting the development proposal for Currawong.
We just recently wrote to the Minister asking her with the serial listing to list the buildings in the Cumberland Plain.
There are many examples. One that comes to mind, of course, is Catherine Hill Bay, where the heritage of an entire village was subjugated to the overall drive for development.
The Labor and Liberal parties could never be swayed by donations from the property developers, could they? Blacksmith's threatened eviction has become a rallying point for those who want to save more of the valuable railway heritage at Redfern.
The building known as the Large Erecting Shop. Some have called this vast 19th century workshop an industrial cathedral. But in recent years, rolling stock lovingly restored here by volunteers has been shunted elsewhere by Railcorp. There are calls for union green bans, an urgent listing on the National Heritage Register and a little bit of visionary thinking.
So a lack of vision on the part of the state government, Graham Quinn?
That's I think, what we desperately need at the moment, the vision to ensure this history is not lost forever.
This week, the Land and Environment Court threw out a contentious coastal development on the grounds that the planning process may have been tainted by what a judge described as a land bribe.
It was a developer's plan to put 600 new homes here at Catherine Hill Bay, south of Newcastle, and almost 200 more at nearby Guandolen, that led to the state government's defeat in the Land and Environment Court this week. The Residents' Action Group argued that the then Planning Minister Frank Sartor had preempted his own decision about the development.
Hundreds of Sydney's oldest homes are facing demolition.
It's being called the developer destruction of Sydney's oldest suburbs. 100-year-old homes are being bulldozed to make way for 18,000 new units by 2031. Among the properties facing rezoning, the former homes of National Trust founder Annie White and right across the road Sydney Harbour Bridge designer John Bradfield. Final approval rests with the Planning Minister, who is considering 1,800 resident objections.